Greetings, y'all. So I wanted to provide an update from one of my last stories that I posted about me being nervous to start marketing myself for my new business. Yeah, the gist of it is things did not go according to plan. They didn't go how I expected them to go or how I had planned for them to go. But I do believe, by God's permission, that I walked away with something so valuable. Like, it was more than I could ask for, honestly, more than I could ask for what did happen. I did, before jumping into everything, I did want to say that I'm really thankful to God for the experience overall, and I'm really thankful to God for just a level of support, because I know I asked for prayer, and just a level of support, the response, the encouragement. It means a lot to me. It means more than you'll know. I won't forget it, by God's permission. He be my helper. I'm not gonna forget that. So hopefully this video can serve as a point of encouragement for someone who might be experiencing something similar, or maybe there's something that you've been wanting to do that you've been sitting on for a while. Because if you're like me, I suffer from imposter syndrome, like doubting myself, having that fear, that anxiety, the doubts, I know what it's like to deal with that. And for some reason that day, that Thursday, I was just like, I gotta do something different. I need results. I have all these ideas, all these intentions, but I need action. I need to actually execute action, right? So, God willing, this can encourage someone, and it will be also a point of reference for myself to look back on and see, by God's permission, just how far He's allowing me to go with this business venture. Because marketing myself, if y'all know me, that's not something I enjoy doing. Trying to sell myself, that stuff is not me. Like, no, it's not me at all. And I was challenged to, step outside my comfort zone. I was challenged to, step out and have faith. And like I said, I believe I walked away with more than I could ask God for in that moment. But yeah, so it started off with me, just preparing myself. I could have talked myself out of just going to begin with. I was already thinking, I can just do this another day. And then, how many more days like that will I have? I can just do that another day. And another day passes, and then I don't do anything. I was like, no, we're going to go out here. We're going to do it. I know I don't feel ready, but we're going to do it. And that's another thing. Like, if you're waiting for that moment where you're going to feel 100% ready, that moment does not exist. And if you continue to wait for that, you'll probably never start whatever it is you have in mind to start. So, you won't feel 100% ready. You got to go out. You got to take the plunge, if you will. But yeah, so it started out with me printing some flyers. I printed out 3 flyers, and I attached a business card to each of them. I already had pre-selected 2 or 3 places to go and leave my flyer and business card with, and hopefully score with some business, right? Score like, hey, yeah, I'm now taken on as contracted, or whatever you want to call it, to provide my services to this facility. And the first place I went to, well, let me start off by saying that the first 2 places were assisted living facilities. And in my research, the reason why I chose these 2 places first is because these places, they deal with the elderly, and with the elderly, they deal with a lot of power of attorney documents and estate planning documents, wills, deeds, trusts, and things of that nature. And that's where someone like myself would come in to be able to help, facilitate, making sure those documents are notarized. So the first place I went to, and I pulled into the parking lot, sat there, I prayed. I was like, asking God, for just strength, for, just help me to have faith, to have the courage to get out there and do it. And, after my prayer, I got out my car, I grabbed my folder that had my flyers in it. I started making my way toward the front door. And then as soon as I get to the front door, I look off to the right and I see a sign that says no soliciting. No soliciting. So that definitely got me to do an about face. I was like, okay, we're definitely not going to walk up in here and start soliciting my services. So, and I don't know why it just didn't click in my head prior to that, calling them and trying to offer my services is also another form of solicitation. Like, even like now I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I solicited anyway. So yeah, I went back to my car though, and I pulled up their information. I give them a call. I was like, hello, this is Oleg Guzman. I was wondering who I would need to speak with to coordinate, providing notary services to this facility. And the lady, she was very nice, but she was straight to the point, and she was like, we don't do that here. I was like, okay, don't do that here. I was like, all right. So got off the phone with her. And, in the off chance that I would be met with the same outcome at the next facility, I decided to give them a call as well. Gave them my pitch, if you will. And I was like, yeah, I was wondering who I need to talk to, coordinate providing notary services. And she was like, what's that? So she didn't know what it was. And I gave her a quick, rundown as far as what my services would entail. And she was like, she's like, well, yeah, they actually do that before they come here. And I was like, okay. So those two places were a no-go. The last place I had in mind was the public library in the area. So I made my way there. And I was getting, because I know that with the libraries, every time I go, they always have some kind of event being advertised, like, cooking classes or whatever the case might be. And I was like, oh, I can definitely leave a flyer there, right? So I went to the library and I was getting ready to lay down one of my flyers. And before I did that, I remember seeing some kind of sign or verbiage that said that, in order to do what I was about to do, I need to go talk to the library staff first. So I went inside to the front desk, talked to this very, very, very nice lady named Holly. And I basically, asked her, I was like, hey, yeah, can I leave my flyer here with you, to be able to offer, my services? And she was like, yeah, only if it's a free service, because, they, public libraries are government owned. And yeah, the only way you can offer a paid service is if it's another government entity. So it made a lot of sense. Like, oh, okay. One thing I forgot to mention was after the first facility, like the first assisted living facility, it's a really important detail that I left out too. Wow, where's my brain? But I was happy. I was happy after that. I remember saying out loud, because I had my daughter with me, she was in the car waiting. I was like, yeah, you know what? Like, this is good. This is learning. I'm learning things. I'm learning, what I can and can't do. I just remember being happy, and I wasn't expecting to be as happy as I was, or as like okay as I was, right? Because I'm thinking, oh man, it's not really working out. But no, I wasn't like bummed out about it at all. I was just happy to have the experience. And it was the same thing with the library, like the overall outcome, how wonderful Holly was with me. Like, I wasn't expecting any of that. But yeah, she was explaining to me just the processes, again, with the whole idea of the only thing you can offer that's paid is if you're another government entity. I was like, okay, that makes sense. And I don't know how it came to this point in the conversation, but she was just giving me all kinds of information. And she ended up telling me, yeah, if you have a library card, you can actually reserve, like twice a month, you can reserve a meeting room here for free for up to 4 hours. And maybe Well, basically the idea would be to offer free services there, and that's not something I had in mind to do. But I don't know if it happened during our conversation or as I was walking out of the library, but I was like, wait a minute, I can totally do that. I could, yeah, why not? It gives me exposure, gives me experience, which is something I need to build anyway, and it gives me a way to give back to the community. So I was elated. I was just like, my mind was going like 1 billion miles a minute. I was like, whoa. This is a good opportunity for me to do something here with this and get myself out there more. It's not what I expected it to be, but it was, in my opinion, more valuable to me than whatever I had in mind to do. And I was just thanking God for it. I was thankful to God for the experience. I was thanking him just to, to go through what I went through. Because if I never went out, I wouldn't know I could do that. If I never went out there, if I didn't put myself out there, I wouldn't know that I could do that. And, it's part of the process, right? It's part of the learning. It's part of like experiencing failures or challenges or hurdles along the way. That's all part of the process. And I'm just like, that was my mentality. I'm so thankful to God that I didn't feel defeated. I'm thankful to God that, I did not hand out one flyer. I didn't hand out one business card, but I was presented with opportunities to be thankful. I was presented with opportunities to learn, to know what I can and can't do. And this could help me, I like learning things. I like, okay, being able to have something to offer to someone else who might be in the same position as me. If I never went out and, with the mindset to market myself or to just get out there, get talking to people, I wouldn't know the things that I know now. It can only, be more, it can only add value to me, like in the long run. And even in that moment, I was just reflecting on it the whole day. I was so excited. I went home. I told my husband when he got home. Well, sometime after he got home, I was talking to my kids about it. I was just like, yes, this is it. This is part of it, allowing me to just sit there and appreciate and experience the journey. And I often ask God to help me to see spiritual things in the natural things and how I could apply the same concept into my walk with him. And it's like, yes, I remember I'd hear ministers talk about experience the journey, like be grateful for the journey. And I'm like, oh, this makes so much sense. I'll have failures. I'll have challenges. I'll have, things not going my way, and being able to sit there. I can honestly say I had so much joy. I had a lot of joy despite things not going the way I anticipated. So, I say that to say, like, be encouraged, because, just get out there, start, begin, do it, because you never know what you'll encounter in the process. You'll never know, what doors will open for you. It may not be the doors that you were thinking would open, but doors would open if this is meant to, if this is meant to go anywhere. And I'm remaining prayerful. It's like, Lord, help me to stay faithful in this. Help me to, to do things right and to continue having faith. I'm telling y'all, just stay encouraged.